Hey, besties, and welcome back to Voyage Besties, your go to podcast for all things travel, friendship, and of course, everything in between. With your two favorite Jersey girls, Rosa, and my wonderful co host, Rachel. We know you might not always hear it in the way that we talk, but we truly do love our home state of New Jersey, aka the Garden State. So, in today's episode, we're diving into what we actually love about New Jersey, from the underrated gems to the everyday things that make it home. And of course, we're going to finally settle one of the biggest debates of all time. Is it pork roll or Taylor ham? Let's see where you end up on this side of the equation, if we'll still be friends after this or not. Just kidding, just kidding. So grab your favorite drink from 7-Eleven or from Wawa, get comfortable and buckle up, besties, because today is going to be a fun ride.
I am so excited for this episode. And as you guys know, normally 4th of July weekend, we don't release an episode because Rosa and I were human too. We like to take the federal holidays off. But we know that the US is turning to 50 this year, and New Jersey is one of the original 13 colonies. So our state is very, very special. And yeah, like Rosa said, we may not always act like it on here when we talk about Newark Airport, the Turnpike, the Jersey Shore. Oh, New Jersey Transit. But this episode, we're going to keep it upbeat because actually, New Jersey is a pretty cool place to live and there's a lot to see and do. And I do think it's kind of unfortunate for a lot of international travelers, especially who are coming to the US. They're going to see New York City. Newark Airport is their introduction to New Jersey because, like, to be perfectly real, even though I complain, I do love the airport because it goes absolutely everywhere. I think about if I were in a more remote area, it would be so much harder to get around efficiently. So I do really like Newark for that. But I come across that so much that Newark Airport is all they see. They're like, oh, yeah, I went through the airport and I saw the Turnpike. It doesn't show the best of what our state has to offer. So Rosa and I are really hoping to shed some positive light on the Garden State. And I think we'll do a good job.
I've called New Jersey home pretty much my home life, my entire life. So I moved here from Dominican Republic where I was born, but I moved to New Jersey when I was about 3 years old. And it's funny because the bulk of my family, pretty much my whole entire family, they live primarily in like New York, Long Island, Queens, Brooklyn. And I'm the only one on the New Jersey side. Like my family and I, we love New Jersey. My parents never wanted to leave outside of New Jersey just because of the convenience and everything. It's just a different lifestyle as much as I love New York City. And it's funny because whenever I travel abroad, more often than not, when I tell people I'm from New Jersey, they know what I'm talking about. But usually they're like, oh, New Jersey, like New York City? And I'm like, close enough. So we love going to New York, but I love my home state of New Jersey. So I'm super excited for this episode. So, Rachel, let's just jump right in. So, what would you say is the first thing that comes to mind when you think about growing up or living in New Jersey?
Okay, so I'm a lot like you. I pretty much spent my whole life in New Jersey, and it always sort of surprises people because I like to think I'm fairly well traveled, but I actually have not lived anywhere else except New Jersey. So I grew up in Gloucester County, which is way in the south of New Jersey. So normally when people think of New Jersey, they immediately think of New York City, which is understandable. I love New York City. It's a wonderful place to visit. I adore it. I call it my soul city. Love New York City. But I grew up on a different side of New Jersey, so to speak. I was 25 minutes or so outside of Philadelphia. So I grew up more or less in deep South Jersey. So when I think of the Garden State, I tend to think of farms. Like I remember a lot of the time in the fall, my family and I, we would go on like hay rides, we would get pumpkins, and I associate New Jersey with a lot of nature. And then, of course, I would associate New Jersey with the Jersey Shore, particularly the South Jersey Shore. Like for the longest time when I was a kid, now keep in mind I was a kid, I was like 9, 10. I thought the Jersey Shore ended at Atlantic City. I didn't realize that it like went on further than that. So I associate it with, say, Ocean City, going on the Ferris wheel. I used to go all the time with my grandmom to Wildwood because there was a Dracula ride. This is a bit of a weird fact about me. Dracula was my first crush at 4 years old. So that's kind of
I love it.
it's kind of a bizarre tidbit. So I always think of like pizza on the boardwalk and seeing Dracula when I think of New Jersey. And then, of course, I think about, even though it's on the other side of the river, those day trips into Philadelphia as well. Because when you live in that part of New Jersey, you really are more shaped by the Philly metro area than New York. I actually didn't go to New York City till I was 16 years old, was my first trip to New York City, which is like crazy to think about considering that, I don't live too far away now. So when I was older, I moved out. I went to Rutgers University, which is like smack in the middle of the state. I got my master's in English, and it sort of introduced me to a whole new side of New Jersey. I started associating New Jersey more with Princeton and going to the Coach store there and all of that fun stuff. So, yeah, New Jersey is great. And like you said, it's the convenience. Like you can drive an hour and be in a major like city, or you could drive an hour and be down at the shore. And honestly, even though sometimes we joke about it, I do think the beaches here are pretty nice. Like I know the beaches in Cape May County, you have like a lot of like white sand, and the beaches are like pretty big too. Like the beach in Wildwood, you have to walk a long way to actually get out to the water. It's a very big beach, so that's nice as well. But how about you, Rosa? What do you think of when you think of the Garden State?
So it's funny because I pretty much had an opposite experience growing up. So I lived in North New Jersey pretty much my whole life. I actually grew up in Essex County in Newark, New Jersey. So Brick City, if you couldn't guess, sometimes like, I feel like the little hood in me kind of comes out a little bit. So shout just kidding. I love Newark. So I grew up in Newark and I lived there pretty much my whole life. And then I moved to like Belleville. So primarily I've always lived in North New Jersey. And just growing up in this area, I feel like it was great because I always saw a lot of diversity, which I really loved. And also the accessibility and convenience because growing up in Newark, it's a big city. We had access to like the bus, the train system. So going into New York, I used to go to New York City all the time just to kind of visit family. So I thought it was super cool and just very convenient and completely different lifestyle. Like I feel like anything and everything that you can think of. I remember as a kid going to like the local bodega, getting like my candy, my snacks, my chips, and just seeing like the melting pot. And I think that was one of my favorite parts of living in North New Jersey was the diversity of people. Like even in my high school, we had people from the Caribbean, we had people from Egypt, from all over the world, and being able to kind of grow up in like this melting pot, I feel like it expanded like my mindset. So I knew from a very young age that I wanted to kind of travel the world because New Jersey just kind of opened those doors and I wanted to kind of explore more. But this episode is about our home state of New Jersey. And one of the other things that I really love about North New Jersey, it's a lot of cool like outdoors and hiking trails. And like Rachel said, the beaches here are phenomenal. I mean, I think we have like 140 miles of coastline. So I feel like every beach town has something different to offer, a different like scenery. So anything and everything that you can think of is in the state of New Jersey. So really it is a wonderful place to visit. And it's funny because now with the World Cup, it's hosted here in New Jersey. And you'll see some stuff on social media because they'll put like World Cup, New York, New Jersey. And us Jersey folks are like, no, no, no. It's in East Rutherford, New Jersey. It is not in like New York.
Preach
Exactly.
it, girl, preach it, preach
Like
it.
we love New York, but New York gets a lot of love. Like you got the Knicks, you got the Nets, you got all these things. So give us something. So the World Cup is in New Jersey, not New York City. So I love seeing like all those snippets on social media of our Jersey people. We're proud of our state. So we want to claim it whenever we can. But there's really a lot to see and do. And there's like no shortage of fun activities. Like I feel like it's a year-round destination because you have different areas that you can go if you're into skiing. Like Rachel said, like in the fall, it's like one of my favorite times in New Jersey because you can go to like wineries, you can go apple picking. We have tons of beautiful farms. So it's so much to see and do in this wonderful state. So I'm so excited just to kind of keep diving deep.
I know, me too. And it's so true. There is so much to see and do. So when I moved out of South Jersey, like granted, I saw like a ton of things to do in South Jersey, and I'll like get more into that later. I've had a chance, especially like during the pandemic, to explore more of New Jersey. And it is true that there's so much to see and do. And I think something else that I really do love about New Jersey is we do have all of these really cool towns that have an actual main street. So if you think of like Americana with the main street and the little shops and the restaurants. We have so many. There are so many downtowns I still haven't explored, and I lived here my whole life. So whether it's going to Princeton or going to Lambertville, Clinton has a really adorable downtown with like the mill there. Morristown is a lot of fun. There's so many Cranford has a beautiful downtown. I just started going there as well. Lots of great restaurants, beautiful downtown street. Maplewood is really pretty. I know that they are hosting Pride. They do like a cute little Pride event every year. Montclair has a beautiful downtown. So you really do have so many downtowns. And I think that's great too if you're like me and love to shop. There's so many incredible local businesses to check out. And it's just like really cool because I feel like even though we're a very densely populated state and there's some like I guess suburban sprawl a little bit, there's just so many downtowns that it doesn't always like feel that way, if that makes sense.
I definitely agree with that. And like you said, as far as being one of the mostly densely populated states in the US, like New Jersey fits that criteria. But like you go further, like into Central and South Jersey, like you said earlier in the episode, you have a lot of greenery, you have a lot of farms, like really cool, like wineries. So I feel like there's so much to see and do. Some of my favorite places, Montclair, I love going there. Like you said, it has like a great shopping scene, the scene here, like anything that you can think of in terms of cuisine. Like I know we went to like Edison. There's a lot like predominantly like Indian restaurants in that area, which is
So
great.
good, so
Delicious
good.
places. So I feel like there's little pockets of different neighborhoods throughout the state, and you feel like you're traveling overseas without even leaving the New Jersey Turnpike.
It's so true. You really do. It does scratch that itch.
And it's
And
like
like you said,
Hoboken, like in I forget, they're like a square mile town and so much variety
so
of like
much.
places to eat, things to do. You still have the accessibility if you wanted to go into like let's say New York City with the train being there. Even Jersey City is phenomenal, and then you still kind of get the skyline view, which I adore. Edgewater is another one of my favorite areas, and that's a little bit further north. And I love like Inglewood, which is another great place. Like if you're like into like say like Colombian food, you want like Cuban food. So many different neighborhoods, and I feel like you just can't go wrong.
We're so lucky. We really can have cuisine all over the world. Like Fort Lee is another one if you really want good Korean barbecue. It's amazing and I can get my Korean skincare there. And you mentioned Edison. Edison has some incredible places to get hot pot and there's also an H Mart in Edison that I am obsessed with and my students are obsessed with.
And our favorite
So,
spot, the Island Spot and Sauna, which we
oh,
love. If you want like a day of like relaxation and to unwind, so like even amazing spots. So like there's so much to see and so much to do.
there's so much and I do think New Jersey is really good if you love to
And more
travel.
affordable, and also too from a shopping perspective, we don't have sales tax on some shopping.
That
So
is very
you
true.
can get more bang for I know they do day trips actually outside of Port Authority into the Mills, which is over in Elizabeth, and it's an outlet. So you're already getting things at a discount, plus you're saving like on sales tax. I think there's like a threshold in terms of like how much you spend in certain items. So that's another great reason to come over and cross into the New Jersey side.
Absolutely. So I really feel like the other question we have on our outline, Rose and I, we always prepare beforehand. New Jersey's really misunderstood. Like it's crazy because there's so many awesome things to do here, but it's very like underrated, misunderstood. Like I know I don't hear this as much, thank God. There are always all these jokes about it being the armpit of America, which I always took as such a personal offense. It was like, listen here, I'm gonna get Tony Soprano on you. You do not say that ever, 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 ever. So, what are some New Jersey spots that you think are totally underrated that people may not know about and should really enjoy and see? Or like areas of the state that are misunderstood? Because I feel like there are a lot of them.
Feel like I'm gonna talk back about where I was kind of raised, which is like Newark area. A lot of people, when they think of Newark, they think because it is a large city, unfortunately, it has like a little bit of a negative connotation. People think like high crimes, a lot of negative things. But Newark is a great city. There's so many great neighborhoods with so many amazing restaurants. Even if you go to downtown Newark, there's a lot of great museums that you can go to because again, like Rachel said, New Jersey was like one of the first territories of the US, right? Original 13 colonies. And there's so much history in the state itself. So I feel like Newark is one of those places. There's so much to see, so much history, so much culture. They do a lot of different like parades and events throughout the year. And I think that's definitely one city that usually gets really misunderstood. And I wish people would spend a little bit more time and actually give it a chance. You also have Prudential Center, which brings like amazing concerts and like events, which is located in Newark as well. So I think that's definitely one place that I wish got highlighted a little bit better.
Yeah, and the Prudential Center is really easy to get to on New Jersey Transit. Like, I won't go in the sports teams on this episode because Rose and I, again, we grew up in two very different parts of the state.
Let's go,
But
Devils.
I remember getting on the train. This is before I really like kind of knew like geography. I was like 18 and I was going to New York City from a university, and I was on New Jersey Transit at the same time as a Devils game, and I saw everybody dressed up like with their like little horns on their head and all, and they were just like getting off the train and like walking. So it is really like convenient to go to an event there if you're linked up with one of the train stations, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, it's super easy to get to. And then you also have like right near Newark Penn Station, you have the Ironbound area. So if you love like Portuguese food, seafood, so many amazing restaurants located there. I grew up there when I went to high school. I grew up in the Ironbound. So I grew up around a lot of like Portuguese, Brazilians, which was great. So many great places to eat. If you're like into like the Brazilian rodizio, Argentinian food, like the Ironbound, like I can spend like an entire episode just like focus on all the amazing foods you can get throughout New Jersey because I really feel like we are spoiled
We
and we don't
really
have to go
are.
far to really get to experience some amazing like cultural things happening throughout the state.
We really, really are. And my friend group and I talk about this all the time, how we can get food from anywhere in the world, like in New Jersey. And it's great. We really don't have to go far at all. And it's funny with the Ironbound. I remember last year at WIT, New Jersey Transit was on strike. So I got an Uber back to my apartment and we drove through the Ironbound and he had his windows cracked. And all I could do was smell the food and I was starving. And I was just like, please put this window up. I am so hungry. It all smelled so good. And I was just like, oh my God, I got to get home and eat. It was just like torture smelling all the good food.
Yeah, it's so many great places, especially like if you love seafood on Ferry Street in the Ironbound. So like right when you get off from Newark Penn Station, if you're taking public transportation or you can drive into depending on where you're coming from, tons of great restaurants, Spanish Tavern, Iberia, really good places to eat. And it's funny because I actually posted something on Threads. So I do have some recommendations from other fellow New Jerseyans. So I'll kind of give a little shout out to them here and kind of go through some of the places that they also talked about. Someone mentioned Somerset County Parks. They're lovely. There's Leonard J. Buck's Gardens. I haven't been there, so I
I
definitely
heard
need
of
to
it. I
add
got to
that.
go. We got to do a trip.
Apparently, that's in Far Hills, and there's a place called Colonial Park that's in Somerset. Somebody also gave a shout out if you're going down to Jersey to Salem County. There's Huddocks in Quinton and DePaulo's in Penns Grove, and then also apparently in Salem County Historic Society, which is a hidden gem. And then they also recommended going to Cowtown. Oh my God, for Saturday night rodeo. Like that sounds like a
That
lot
would
of
be
fun.
fun. That would be fun. I would totally, girl, I would totally dress up with like a cowboy
Cowboy
hat
boots.
and
I'm ready to
boots.
go.
We should do it. We should totally do it. I am willing to check out the rodeo. I've never been, so I think it'd be fun.
Yeah, and there's apparently a place that you can hang out with cats. There's a place called Cazzatera, and they have fantastic Italian food at this place called Espo. And then you can stop for ice cream at a place called As You Like It. And then they
Mm.
said it is not pork roll.
My gosh. Oh my gosh. The pork roll and Taylor ham.
But we'll get into
We'll
that
get into
later.
that later.
We'll get into
You
that
guys,
later.
you guys. It's yeah. So as we can see, New Jersey's really cool. But I have to ask, when I was like growing up, I didn't always appreciate New Jersey. I actually, when I was younger, wanted to go to school in Virginia. I wanted to go to William and Mary in Virginia. And then I had a thing also for wanting to go to the University of Miami. Like I wanted to leave the state of New Jersey so bad. I just wanted to get out. And I ended up staying, go figure. But is there anything that you didn't truly appreciate until you got older or until you traveled more about our home state?
Well, it's funny. I'm gonna have to say, so growing up, like in North Newark area, it was so convenient to have accessibility to like the bus and public transportation. And then when I moved to like Bergen County, here, some neighborhoods that you can walk to, but for the most part, you are driving places. So I remember growing up, my mom didn't drive, my dad did, but my mom refused to drive in the States. And anytime we went anywhere, it was taking public transportation. So growing up, I used to hate it. I used to hate having to take the bus and the train. And now I love it. I love the convenience of being able to just like hop on the bus and getting to where I need to go or on a train, as opposed to always having to drive somewhere, dealing with the traffic, dealing with tolls, dealing with parking fees. So growing up, I hated the idea of always being on New Jersey Transit just because I was like, why can't we just drive there? So whenever my mom wanted to go to like, let's say like New York to visit my grandfather, like all the way in Yonkers, I was like, why can't dad just drive us there?
So funny. But yeah, like I was kind of like the same. Like I remember just like not wanting to take the speed line into Philadelphia because they have like this small little train, we call it the speed line that goes into Philadelphia. And the crazy thing about it that I actually appreciate more than them up here is it runs 24 hours a day. Like New Jersey Transit shuts down between I think like midnight and 5 a.m. This little speed line thing, it's 24 hours in and out of Philadelphia, which is like really mind boggling. So like when I was like little, I'm like, "Oh, do I have to take this? It's like this little train, blah, blah, blah." But when I got older, I really appreciated it for the same reason because the Ben Franklin Bridge could get backed up. The Walt Whitman Bridge could get backed up. Like the traffic going in and out of Philly could be insane. You would save on tolls. So having just like this 24-hour train that would go in and out of the city, and it was a reasonable price at the time. I don't remember off the top of my head because I haven't used it in years, but it was great. When I was older, I'm like, oh, I can just like go into the city with like a friend and not have to worry about driving over the bridge after. This is awesome. And I don't have to worry about like rushing out like at midnight like I would in New York. So I definitely like agree. Our public transportation system here is, if you guys know anything about the United States, it's like not much to brag about compared to Europe or Japan, but New Jersey, it is one of the better ones as far as connections to the city and connections to the airport. I like that I can hop on the train or even the bus to go to Newark Airport. I don't have to drive and leave my car there if I don't want to.
Yeah, we've relied a lot. Like I said, growing up, whenever we traveled, like with my mom, taking the bus like everywhere. I remember when the Mills back then used to be called Jersey Gardens Mall when they first opened. We took like two buses to get there, and it felt like an eternity. Meanwhile, it was like literally like a 15-minute drive from our house, but it would take us like about an hour to get there on the bus. But we still had the option to do that. I remember one time I really wanted to go to Atlantic City, and I didn't have a car, so my friends and I took the bus all the way down to Atlantic City. So it's very convenient. And like you said, I feel like New Jersey, even though we might knock it sometimes, the transportation system here, it's pretty good in terms of getting different places throughout the state and outside of the state as well.
Yeah. And then I guess the other thing that I didn't really appreciate till I got older is just how much people love New Jersey. Like we like knock on it, but only we can
Only
do
we can
that.
knock on it. Like
Only
if
we
you're
can do
not from here, do not talk smack about my state.
if you're from
I'm
Pennsylvania, New
coming from
York,
you.
Delaware, don't even think about it. Like just don't even think about it. Like you will not make friends. But I love how people are just like so proud to be from New Jersey. On social media, I see the phrase my country, New Jersey making the rounds, and it's so true. People are like fiercely loyal to their state. And I really do feel like even though New Jersey has a reputation for being kind of rough around the edges, I do feel like the people here do care about each other, even if it doesn't always come off like that way. What is like the saying that where
Like where people from Jersey are like kind but not nice, or
yes,
vice
that's it.
versa.
Yes, 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 exactly. And I do like just like love that about here. We do like take care of
Like
our
I will
own.
honk at you and maybe give you the finger if you cross me on the turnpike. But like if you need help, I'll help you.
Exactly, exactly. And I think that's like reflected in our laws as well. Like you said, it's a very like diverse state. And when you look at our laws, we really like do take care of the
Very
people who live
inclusive.
here. They're incredibly inclusive. And I feel very safe living here in a lot of ways. So I really do appreciate that about New Jersey too, just how much people love it, how diverse it is, and how safe I feel here. So New Jersey is great. Like I was having this conversation recently about like if I would live in any other state, and I really like couldn't think of any, believe it or not.
I know. I feel the same way. I always say I don't see myself living in the US my whole life. However, I have now found a different place in the world that I love as much as I love New Jersey. And one of my favorite things of living here is also that we get to take advantage of the different seasons throughout the year. Like I
Yes.
love it like even though this winter was brutal, but we had winter for a few months. Then we know we're going to go into spring. Then we know we're going to have summer. Then we're going to have fall. So I love that it's not one steady climate throughout the year. I love the different changes because I feel like every season brings different activities, different things to do. Like now, like we're entering the summer months. So many great outdoor things to do, so many great beach days to plan. And then we'll go into the fall where we can do like the apple picking, pumpkin picking, like fall foliage. So I feel like there's so much diversity just like with our weather landscape throughout the year. So that's actually one of my favorite things. And also too, like you don't pump your own gas here in Jersey. So that's
Yes.
another reason I don't think
Yes,
I
yes,
can ever
yes.
leave.
Oh my gosh.
I am spoiled. Like I would wait. Like if I am traveling like outside of the state, I will wait. Like I will go on E until I make it back into state lines.
I love that. And it's such a like, I don't want to get outside in the rain or
No.
I teach. I'm up at like 5:30 to drive to work. You think I'm gonna get out at 7 a.m. to pump my own gas in the cold and rain? Get real.
And people appreciate that. So we were just in Tennessee and we went to eat at this restaurant, which is amazing. I forget the name of it, but it's so funny because we're talking to the hostess, and when we told her we were from Jersey, that's the first thing she said. She was like, "And I went there," and they're like, "Oh yeah, you don't gotta get out your car to pump gas," and she just loved that. And I was like, "Girl, that's a reason why I would never leave here."
Yeah, I love not having to pump my own gas for sure. So, New Jersey, we know it has so many different vibes, whether it's the seasons, whether it's the towns, all of it. Is there a particular part of the state that really feels like home to you?
I mean, I guess all I really know is North New Jersey. So that to me is home. I've been very fortunate, like I said, even like growing up like in Newark, when I lived in Belleville, even now in Bergen County. Like I've always had a good sense of community living in like North New Jersey, even like the town that I currently live in now. It's a small town, but it's like very diverse, very inclusive. Like I have amazing neighbors. So I feel like North New Jersey to me that's always going to be home. I've pretty much, even though when I lived in Newark, granted, it was a little bit more of a bigger city, but like even like my neighborhood, like I knew like my neighbors. I remember as a kid going outside and playing with like the kids from the neighborhood. And like they used to like open up the fire hydrant like in the summer months and we used to like
That's
splash
fun.
around. Like I just have like all these amazing memories of living in like North New Jersey. So to me, that's home in a nutshell. So what about you, Rachel?
So it's funny, like growing up, it was the same thing. We knew all the neighbors. It was very suburban, but all the kids like lived like in the same like court area. And then we would go and just like play like in the woods and cause trouble. Like there was a farm by my parents' house, and me and the neighbors we would get into so much trouble. Like one day I built a slingshot because I thought the guy was cutting down trees and I was like slinging rocks at him. So
You
I
little badass.
like a little bastard when I was a kid, but like we would just like get into so much trouble and like stay out until dinner. It was so much fun. So those like memories of like growing up in New Jersey suburbia, always like causing trouble, making prank calls, ringing the doorbell and running away, just like causing so much like little chaos, like little like tornadoes going through the neighborhood. I'll always like remember that because it is really funny. But like now that I'm older, definitely because I spent so much time at the Jersey Shore, that feels like home. Like when I can smell like the salt in the air, feel the humidity, hear the seagulls. Like there's nothing like quite like waking up to like those seagulls yapping away. That does remind me of home as well. And now that I live like more like north central New Jersey, that feels like home too in a different way. It's like the adult part of my life. And I was able to make a lot of really great friends up here. I have a lot of wonderful connections at work. I've met a lot of travel bloggers up here. So I feel like, funnily enough, even though people say it's so hard to make friends as an adult, I have not had that experience in New Jersey. I feel like I'm always meeting amazing people because we're lucky. Like we have like so many events and so many like professional like groups and like things to do. Like it's not hard to like branch out and meet people. And that's another thing I appreciate. You just go on Instagram. There are so many like events at bookstores in like your local city and they're like diverse. There's like an event for everybody. So it's actually, I feel like pretty easy to make friends here. That's just been like my experience anyway.
I definitely agree with that. Like you said, there's a lot of different, like maybe meetups that you can join or different like activities that you can do to meet people. And I feel like sometimes we're kind of like misunderstood because, yes, we're kind of like go, go, go to work. And it's like, the hamster wheel, the same cycle every day. But I feel like we also know how to kind of like let loose a little bit. So there's something for everyone. I know by me, like, let's say like you're like a gamer, there's like a store where people go in just to play like video games. So even
That's
though you're
fun.
not really like interacting so much with one another, you're still surrounded by other people. So I feel like there's like a club or an activity or something to do for any and every interest.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. So let's talk about Wawa. I used to go to Wawa all the time. You know what's like really, really funny? I haven't been to Wawa in ages, and I feel like I need to, like, hand in my, like, Jersey cred for that because I just, like, haven't gone in a very long time, but, we do love Wawa here, and I would say my Wawa order, if I were to go now, I do like their meatball hoagies. When they have, like, their hoagie week, those meatball hoagies are really, really good. Do you have a go-to Wawa order, or are you like me and actually haven't been in years? Like, I feel like I need to go just to keep my Jersey cred going.
That's so funny because I'm so used to going to like 7-Eleven. And I have to say, like the 7-Eleven convenience store, the food options is not that great, although they have like delicious Slurpees. So definitely go for that. But I love Wawa. I remember one day, I forget what I was driving to, and I was actually with my niece, and she was like about 7 at the time. And she was like, "Oh my God, Thea, there goes a Wawa. Can we go in and can we get a slush?" And she had her this whole entire order like stacked. Because by me, I have a little bit more 7-Elevens than I do Wawa. So whenever I am going, let's say down to the Jersey Shore, I'll usually stop into Wawa because I love a good Italian hoagie. Give me all the oil and vinegar, give me some salt and vinegar chips and a nice crisp Coca-Cola, and I am ready.
Oh my god, we are so spoiled too with the bread here.
We got good bread
Like the hoagies, like an Atlantic City that you can get because apparently Atlantic City water is incredible, and that's why their
and good
bread is so
bagels too.
good. Yes, yes, good bagels for sure. Pizza, like you guys, we're like
Yeah.
really spoiled. And again, it's like the water. The water makes like the good bread and the good dough. But yeah, I do love like a good meatball hoagie. God, I gotta go in the Wawa now. I feel bad.
We're gonna take a trip to Wawa and we'll post our orders. There's one actually near my job. I don't think there's one near my house, but there's definitely one near where I work. So I'll be stopping by Wawa, get like some cheap gas because gas is also expensive. So, get some gas, get my hoagie, and I'll definitely share that on our Instagram.
Yeah, we should do it. There's one not far from my job either where I can get gas. So one day we'll like team up and do it and then like post like a Wawa post collab.
I love that. So, Rachel, what would you say if you had to create the perfect New Jersey day itinerary for someone who's visiting? Where would you take them? Tell
Oh
me
my
everything. I'm
goodness,
taking
where
notes.
would I take them? I guess it depends where they're flying into. So let's see. Let's say you're flying into Philadelphia and we go around my old stomping grounds. So honestly, like the South Jersey Shore, I just absolutely love it. So if you were going with me and you flew into Philadelphia, we would have to make it more of a weekend, but I would take you to Cape May, which I absolutely love. It's one of my favorite places to go. It's very scenic with all of the beautiful Victorian houses. You can go on all sorts of historical tours inside the houses. Like the Physics Estate is the most well known one. It's a very big Victorian mansion, but there are plenty of others. And if you like trolley rides, there are a ton of trolley rides you could take that go through the history of the city because like it used to be known as like a seaside like resort and it still very much is, but in that time period it was like a luxury like top-notch resort. Maybe we would even stay in Congress Hall, which is like a huge seaside resort that has a lot of history. If you go there during Christmas time, they have a beautiful like Christmas market on the lawns, like by the pool, and that's always incredible. And a lot of like the local businesses set up like stands there, so that's fun. But even during like the summer and the fall, it's beautiful. There's a great little coffee shop inside Congress Hall where you can get yourself a pumpkin spice latte if you happen to be going in the fall. And then just like the downtown, like Washington Mall, there's just like a ton of little shops that you can go in and out of. Like I love the clothing stores there. There's a pajama store there that I really like. There's a chocolate store, Louisa's Chocolates, that are excellent. So we would buy some chocolates as well. And then we would pick one of the many like great restaurants. Like I love the Washington Inn. It's one of my favorites. I made Rosa go with me the
It
last
was
time we
so
were down
good.
that way. It's a very, very good choice. But there are also like plenty of other outstanding restaurants in Cape May. But the other nice thing you can do if you're like the history's not really my thing, there are plenty of wineries that you can go to also, and they'll do like little treats, and you can have like a couple glasses of wine. They have the fire pits out if you're going in the winter months, which is a ton of fun. So we would do that as well. And then West Cape May is really cool. There's actually a French bakery that I love called Chez Michael, and the baker is from France, so he is a trained French baker, and I get my birthday cake from there. I absolutely love it there. So we would go and have some French pastries as well. So you would spend some time with me in Cape May. That's what I would do if you were flying into Philadelphia. How about you,
That's
Rosa?
perfect. So we're gonna come back to North New Jersey. So let's say we're doing like a day trip in North New Jersey. So I feel like up here, like I said early in the episode, we have some amazing like hiking trails. So we're gonna be a little bit more active on this like day trip. We're gonna start our day. We're gonna maybe stop by either Wawa or 7-Eleven, grab a coffee, grab a little croissant, and we're gonna make our way to Palisades State Park, which I really love. It's beautiful. It's like pretty. It has some flat and like some steep like areas that you can hike, but it's a pretty like mild hike. You have views of George Washington Bridge. You could walk around like the waterfront. So after we got a little bit active, we're gonna drive maybe about 30 minutes or so, and we're actually gonna go to East Newark because if you didn't know, New Jersey is actually known as the diner capital of the world
Yes.
because we have some amazing diners. So I'm going to take you to one of the most popular and one of the most delicious diners, and it's located in East Newark, and it's called Tap's Diner. So if you've never been,
I've never been.
oh my God, Rachel, no, 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 that's a sin. You need to go to Tap's Diner. You
Let's
need to
go.
go to Tap's Diner. They even have like a section where you can get like champagne and like moët. So they redid it, they've expanded like the food and its variety of anything and everything that you can think of. First of all, the portions are huge. So we're gonna share a couple of different things and gonna have a delicious meal. So after we're done eating at Tops, maybe we're gonna continue being a little bit active. Maybe this is your first time in New Jersey. Maybe we'll head over to Jersey City. We can go to Liberty State Park, walk around, walk off the food, see the Statue of Liberty, which is like a beautiful view from Liberty State Park. If it's in the summer months, one of my favorite spots to go to is called Surf City, which is located in Jersey City. It's like right on the marina, so we can get like maybe lobster rolls, have a few drinks, or if not, we can head over to Edgewater. There's a place there that I really love. It's called Pier 115. Delicious food, amazing views. Or if you feel like eating Mexican food, we can go to one of my favorite spots, which is called Charitos, and that one's actually in Weehawken. And same thing, there's like a park nearby, so you can walk around, see the skyline, see the sunset. But this restaurant, when I tell you, like the best mezcal margarita of your life, you have to go.
I am hungry.
Take my word for it. So we're going to be a little active, but primarily we're going to be eating a lot. So we definitely are going to get our steps in and walk off all the delicious food.
I'm hungry. Like we're just like talking about all this great food. Guys, you gotta come to
It's
New
like
Jersey
I feel
just
like
for
you
the
can't go
food.
wrong. You can't
You
go. It's
really
funny
can't.
also too because like just to kind of like highlight a couple of like destinations down the shore. This is actually two trips that I did recently, and I personally love going to the Jersey Shore like after summer, so usually
Me
in
too.
September because one, the weather is still fabulous. There's less crowds and you don't have to pay to get into the beaches because during the summer months, that's one thing I have to say, it's not cheap to go to there's different beaches throughout the state because you do have to pay to get in. I know some of them are great because they offer like a season pass that you can purchase for the season. So that way you're saving some money. But I know like last year we normally go to Asbury Park and I think it was like $17 a person, I
Wow.
think, for a day pass. So it adds up pretty quickly. But I love Asbury Park. And this is actually a trip that I did. I did a solo trip to Asbury Park area. I started off by doing yoga. And I had to link the name of all the places. So I did yoga. Right next door to the yoga studio, there was a coffee shop. So I grabbed myself some coffee. Then I drove maybe about like 10 minutes and I went to like this cool little spot. And I feel like that's great if you're doing like a girls trip. And I did like permanent jewelry. Then I headed back to Asbury Park and I forget what their main street is called, but there's like tons of restaurants there. There's some breweries that you can go to, delicious food. There's actually a museum that you go to. So if you're into kind of like witchy and like some scary stuff, that's a perfect spot to go to. And they do kind of like a ghost tour, I believe. So
Well, that's
that's like
fun.
a fun little day trip in Asbury Park. And then also Point Pleasant. Samantha and I, we did a day trip to Point Pleasant where we started off at this bookstore that has a coffee shop in the back. And they have a section in the back here, which is like used books, which is a great way for you to be able to give, these old books a new home and save some money while adding to your reading stack. So we started our day there. Then we headed over to Pliables because you can't be at the Jersey Shore and not stop at Pliables.
You need to get a bowl. You need to get a bowl at the Jersey Shore
Especially
at
from
some
Point
point.
Pleasant. I believe that was like the first pliable, if I'm not mistaken. Don't like quote me on that. So we grabbed pliables, we went to the beach, we hung out, and then we went to Jenkinson's Boardwalk. We grabbed like some cheesesteaks, and they were actually doing free movie nights. So we got to see Jaws like on the beach, which was so cool. And it's free to get into. You just got to make sure you bring like your chair or like a towel or whatever. So that was so much fun. And of
So
course,
fun.
I got some ice cream on the boardwalk because you cannot go to the Jersey Shore and not get ice cream. So
Oh my
that was
god,
like a
there's so
perfect
many
summer
good ice
day.
cream. There's so many good ice cream places too, like during the summertime, especially. And Asbury Park, it's like a load of fun. I have to like go more frequently because Monmouth County is really cool with, like you said, there's a lot of really great breweries. And I've always wanted to go to this place in Asbury Park, but I'm kind of concerned because I feel like I would walk out with a cat. So it's called Catsbury and
Ooh,
it's a cat
yeah.
cafe and you go and you play with the cats and you can adopt them. So
Haven't
it's
been, but
kind of
that sounds adorable.
I feel like that would be, like, really bad for me, but it would be, like, so, like, fun, and I've also, went to a show at the Stone Pony,
Oh,
and
the
that was,
stone,
like
yeah.
yeah, so that was, like, really fun as well, so there's a lot to do, in Asbury Park and in
I love
Monmouth
Asbury Park. That's
County.
usually my go-to beach just because like where I'm from, it's like about an hour and a half drive. So it's like closer. And I feel like it's a little bit more, not, I wouldn't say laid back because it definitely has gotten a little bit more crowded over the last couple of years. But
Definitely.
I love that there's a lot to do like on the boardwalk. There was this one rooftop that I went to. I think it's called like AP Rooftop. Delicious food, like the drinks, like the cocktails were like phenomenal. So I feel like you can't go wrong in Asbury Park because you can like hang out at the beach, then hit the boardwalk. And then if you want a little bit more like entertainment, then usually we go to Point Pleasant because there you have like a little bit more animated boardwalk, especially let's say you're going with kids. Point Pleasant, you have like the Rise, Jenkinson's Boardwalk with like all of the arcades and all that fun stuff. I prefer that a little bit better than like Seaside Heights. I feel like Seaside Heights gets a little bit crazy.
But yeah, Seaside Ice, I always think of Jersey Shore,
Yeah,
like,
and I
I
haven't been to Wildwood, oh my god, since high school.
So it's funny. So Wildwood, like I've been to like North Wildwood a couple times. There's lots of like Irish like bars and things to do. But I know the actual Wildwood boardwalk, there's like a ton of rides. So if you're like into the boardwalk scene with the rides, there's definitely an abundance there. But I actually really like Ocean City's boardwalk. It's
Mhm.
very family friendly and enjoyable. And it's really good if you have kids. Now I will say Ocean City, it is a dry town, meaning there are no bars and no alcohol. But if you have like small kids and you want something that's like a bit more relaxed, there's not going to be like a really big party scene, Ocean City is also a great option. And they have like a wonderful like downtown as well. And I think it's in May. They do like a sidewalk sale, and a lot of the like towns at the Jersey Shore do this. So Rosa mentioned going in the off season. I actually like going in the spring or the very end of summer because those small businesses, they're trying to clean out their inventory. So they'll often have sidewalk sales. So I took advantage of the sidewalk sale recently at a shore town and I got myself a pair of Versace sunglasses for $200. That's, if you know the designer, it's not that bad. And then I also got a piece of artwork that was marked down from $3,000 to 260. So
You are
if
a
you want to
bargain
save
shopper, girl.
If you want to save some money, like go down in the off season because the weather's still beautiful. It's not as crowded and you can hit up some really great sales. Like what's not to love? So let's talk about an only in New Jersey experience people would not understand unless they lived here. I know mine is speeding. Well, not speeding. I don't want to say speed, but I go with the flow of traffic on the Garden State Parkway and I always blast Bon Jovi. So that is, I would say, a very
Yes,
classic.
you sound very typical New Jersey.
That is so typical New Jersey. Going with the flow of traffic because we're not speeding. We're going with the traffic. It's fine. And yeah, blasting Bon Jovi. That is like my Jersey experience. And I do it every single summer.
I really love that. I feel like for us, like we always think we have the best, right? So like North New Jersey versus South Jersey, like who has the best pizza? Who has the best bagels? I feel like we're always constantly at battle. And I know we joked around at the beginning of the episode, like, is it pork roll? Is it Taylor ham? So we always feel we're very territorial of our section, even though like obviously we all love the entire state of New Jersey. I do feel like we are a little divided between like North and South Jersey. Like it's a completely like once you hit what is it? I don't know, exit like 140 maybe, like on the turnpike or whatever it is. It's like it's a completely different atmosphere. The behavior is also a little bit different.
Yeah,
So
there's a
I
difference. There is a
so
difference, like South
you
versus
could
North.
tell. You can
South
tell.
versus North, and it's so funny. Like Rosa and I am
Yeah.
from South Jersey. She's from North Jersey. We'll be the first to tell you there is a difference, and it's like a little like back and forth. It's all
And
like
it's
in
all in
good
fun.
fun. It's all in good fun, but it's so what's so funny about it to me is it's such a small state geographically, and to have like such differences in this like tiny little like pocket, it's really like entertaining to me. Although I think it's because it's like you have Philadelphia and New York, obviously like two very big cities. So they kind of like, I don't know, the metro areas are just different. So I think that's part of it. But it's such like a small state and there's like such differences and it's tiny.
It is. It is. But I feel like we're constantly at battle with one another because we want to claim like does North New Jersey have the best pizza? Probably.
I kind of like want to write now like an enemies to lovers romance novel set in New
Set in
Jersey.
New Jersey. Oh my God. I would love it. I would love it. Even like some of the phrases that we say too are completely different from one side to the other.
My gosh, yeah, when I like went to Rutgers, I it's so funny because some of like the things I would say in South Jersey, I changed them up by the time I graduated because it was like so jarring and people would laugh. So I kind of like don't remember some of them now, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, people would like the way I said ocean. That was like a big thing. And then hoagie, they liked how I said hoagie. And then probably the funniest is I say water now, but growing up in the Philadelphia area, we say wooder.
Oh, gosh, no.
I stopped doing that.
I
I
forgot.
kind of I had that kind of stamped out of me, so I don't say it anymore. But like sometimes if like the students need like a laugh and they're like, "Oh, say something from South Jersey," I'll say it and they'll think it's funny.
That's
It's all in good fun.
that's so funny. I forget when we were in Tennessee and we were doing like the cave tour and I forget what I said. And the guy's like, yeah, you're definitely from Jersey. Like, did I sound like a Jersey girl?
That's so funny. And what's funny, like, too, like with me being from like South Jersey, people don't always realize that I'm from New Jersey because they're like, oh, you don't have a New Jersey accent. And it's even come up like people have thought I was from the South, but it's because it's just like a completely different geographical area. And again, such a small state. It's crazy.
Yeah, we definitely can be a little diverse and a little bit different. So that brings us to the question of the hour,
God,
Rachel.
here we go.
So we're gonna settle this battle once and for all.
My,
Is it really pork roll or is it Taylor ham, and why?
my gosh. All right, I'm going to end up getting blocked by
No,
Rosa.
not you, because apparently, according to threads, I am incorrect, and I've been saying it wrong my whole life.
So I do say pork roll because that's like how I was like taught saying it. So I do like say pork roll. But you know what's like really funny about it actually, Rosa, is I really don't like pork roll all that much. Like that's the ironic thing. I really don't eat it. I like a bagel with like bacon on it. I always do like bacon, egg, and cheese. That is like my go-to. And pork roll, it's like a very rare thing. And the only other thing I associate with pork roll was like years ago, my dad, we were like trying to get into smoothies to get healthier. And we had like a kale smoothie with blueberries. And then, like, I think it was like a half hour later, my dad was like, I've had enough of this and went and started making pork roll.
Love that. I love that. And it's so funny because I mean, growing up in North Jersey, so technically it is pork roll, right? But like growing up in North New Jersey, when they started calling it Taylor ham, it just kind of stood with us and we always said Taylor ham. So when you go to, let's say, like my local shop nearby my house, when I go for my breakfast order, I usually get like scrambled eggs and Taylor ham on a Portuguese roll. That's like my go to order. And Sam and I, we did a day trip to Frenchtown, and I think this was like last summer or during the fall. So we're there and we went to this diner, and on the menu, one of the options said pork roll, and in like quotations. So Sam's like pork roll, and then I'm like, yeah, Taylor ham. She's like, oh yeah, I forgot they call it pork roll around here. I was like, yeah, girl, we're not in North New Jersey anymore.
It's so
We
funny.
gotta get with the lingo.
It's
So it doesn't
so
matter if
funny.
it's pork roll or Taylor ham. I love you all equally.
Yeah, and it's so funny because it's like it's such a random thing when you think about it. It's like
But people
breakfast
are
meat.
very territorial. Like when I tell
They
you
get heated.
my threads, fam, like they were aggressive. They were like, girl, it's pork roll.
Yeah. And it's like, and guys, if you think that's bad, like the sports team
But
situation
yeah,
here,
we won't
we
even
won't
get
get
into
into
that.
that. But
We
like,
won't talk sports.
I will say, like South Jersey fans, if they're Philadelphia fans, they're legit crazy.
Yeah, I do
And
not mess around with Philly fans. Like you
they're
guys are
crazy.
wild.
They're crazy.
Like us Jersey. And I mean it sucks because like
you guys are
yeah,
way more chill.
like we have the Giants, we have the Jets, but like they're called like New York Giants, New York Jets, but like hello, they play in Jersey. But I feel like we're a little bit more mild and contained. We're not as
You guys are
aggressive.
way more. You guys are way
I
more
was like, I'm
laid
not gonna
back.
say the word that's coming to my mind because I don't want to get any hate comments from my Philly folks.
No, it's all good.
But you guys are wild, man.
But no, we're insane. So a gentle piece of travel advice: if you travel to South Jersey, just maybe not talk sports. I'm not saying everybody, but some of them can be crazy.
Yeah, I definitely
And I
agree.
and I say that with love. I still remember when the Eagles won the Super Bowl and the mayor had to come out and be like, "Don't climb on the telephone poles." And I'm like, "They're gonna do it anyway. They're nuts." And sure enough, like all the footage came out, and I'm like, "Yep, like they're my people right there,
Yeah,
climbing on telephone poles."
it's like no thank you. I remember one time, so I am a huge basketball fan, and I remember we went to Philly, and when I tell you it was so rowdy, like it was like insane. And after that, I was scarred for life. I was like, I'm never going to a sporting event in Philadelphia ever again. Like you guys are passionate about your sports, but it's a little intense.
It's crazy. So I used to go to the Flyers games all the time with my dad, and I
And
was
I
like,
was a huge Allen Iverson fan, but
I loved him.
I was like, yeah, I'm not coming back here.
No, no. There were a couple times, like when I was 13, my dad took me to an Eagles game. It got so out of hand that my dad said, I will never bring you to one of these again because he was embarrassed. And then there was another time, I won't say on the air what I said because it was inappropriate. And I was like 12 and I thought the word meant something else. It didn't mean that. And we were playing the Devils and I got angry as a little 12-year-old Flyers fan and like shouted something that was very fresh. I thought it meant something else. I was in middle school. I didn't know any better. And I had to sit down and have a very long chat with my mom afterwards about why the word was inappropriate. So, I mean, it's the vibe. If that's not your thing, avoid at all
Passionate
costs.
people. We are passionate people. And I feel like that's like one stereotype about like New Jersey people is that we can be rude. And it's not necessarily that we're rude, but we're very like opinionated and upfront. And sometimes
Yes.
we're a little too honest and a little too blunt. And when we love something, we're passionate about it. So we're going to show it.
We're very, very passionate. Yeah, we're like I think that's a stereotype that is like completely true that we're passionate, that we're loud, that we're a bit rowdy, and it's true. Like and we have opinions. Like and I think it's because we live in such a crowded like state. Like I feel like if you are quiet and meek here, you're going to get trampled all over. You have to like assert yourself and we do what we need to do and I think it like comes across in like many different ways.
I totally agree. What would you say would be like another stereotype of New Jersey?
Oh my gosh, another stereotype in New Jersey. So when I travel, I always get a couple of things when I say I'm from New Jersey. First is like the New York thing, which I take as a compliment because I do love New York City. Even though I grew up in South Jersey, I can't say enough good things about New York City. I love it. But the other things I always come across are still the Jersey Shore. And then the other one is Tony Soprano. So when I was up in Canada
We're not in
recently,
the mob, we swear.
my god. So I was up in, Nova Scotia last summer, and we were talking with 2 guys, I think they were from Toronto, and they asked where we were from, and we said New Jersey. He was like, "Oh, do you have an Uncle Tony?" And I was like I was laughing, and then I was like, "I wish, because 'cause I'd have that beautiful house." And he was like, "You really don't mean that." I'm like, "No, I don't, not because then I'd be in the mob, and then that I get in trouble." But, yeah, The Sopranos tends to come up, which it's, like, fantastic TV, so I'll take it as a compliment.
Exactly. It's an amazing show. And I would say another stereotype too is that a lot of people think of New Jersey, they think it's like all highway and like industrial. Like, granted, yes, if you're driving on the turnpike and you're passing, like, let's say Elizabeth, you see like all the containers at the marina and the dock. You know, we have Newark Airport. So sometimes people think New Jersey, it's like all industrial areas, but there's so much to see, so much to do. And like, we're more than just like the Garden State Parkway and the turnpike. So please come on over to Jersey. You're going to love it.
Yeah, and it's called the Garden State for a reason. I know we
Yeah,
said it a
so
couple
much view
times.
greenery,
Lots
so much, like,
yeah.
landscape too.
Lots of greenery, lots of farms. I really think New Jersey does shine in the fall. Like, I will say, you guys know me. I love to travel. I'm always buying plane tickets. If I didn't like travel, I wouldn't be constantly spending money I don't have on plane tickets. But in the fall, I do like staying here because I think New Jersey's like beautiful that time of year with like the leaves changing colors and the farms, and the Jersey Shore is beautiful that time of year. Like, it really is not like a huge industrial wasteland. Like, there is a lot of natural beauty in New Jersey that I think gets overlooked. And I think part of that is because maybe like international travels, they see like the national parks, which are like stunning. And it's like, of course, if you're going to be using the Grand Canyon as a benchmark, like it's hard to meet. But I do think the nature we have here is very beautiful. I do.
Yeah, I definitely agree that we have a very diverse landscape here. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, I feel like it's a year-round destination and it does get very like overlooked, but we have a lot to do and see in the state. Like I said, if you're coming here, let's say during the winter months, we actually have like some great spots where you can go like skiing and snowboarding. So I know like if you go over to like Vernon, New Jersey, you can do all those cool things. Like in the summer months, we have amazing beaches and every beach town has like a different vibe to it, like a different staple. If you want to come, let's say PNC Bank, they do a lot of really fun like outdoor concerts that you can go to. So there's so much diversity, so much to do, amazing wineries, great accommodations. So like if you love spas, you can come over to like let's say Sojo Spa in Edgewater, which is super relaxing. It's great to spend like a day there, get some food, get a treatment, enjoy the skyline. They have like a pretty cool like rooftop pool. So much to see, so much to do in our beautiful state of New Jersey. So, Rachel, if you had to convince someone that New Jersey truly is amazing, what would you say is your biggest selling point?
Would have to say our beaches. Like, people do love the beach, and 140 miles of coastline, you really can't beat it. And then especially if you come in the fall because the weather's still gorgeous, and then at that time of year you don't have to pay like for the beaches either. And like Rosa said, each beach town has a really different vibe, so you can find the perfect beach town for you. And then too, like the history, again, we talked about like 250 years old. Like, New Jersey has a lot of really cool Revolutionary War spots if you want to look around for them if you're a history buff. I mean, this is where George Washington crossed the Delaware. There is a lot to see from a historical standpoint as well. So I would definitely say that. How about you, Rosa?
I mean, I definitely agree. And again, just to kind of like recap what it said, we have a variety, right? So, like, very few places are going to offer combinations of like great beaches, the mountains, the farms, like you said, the history, all of the incredible foods. So, again, being the dino capital of the world, you can't go wrong with so many great places to eat, the variety, just the diversity that the state has to offer. There's a lot of different like fun activities. So, like, I know like Asbury Park. I know like during the winter months, they do like the polar plunge, which is like a really fun. I personally would never do it because I am not going into the
No,
like, first of all, I don't even like going into the water in the summer when it's cold, let alone like in the freezing cold.
my
But
God.
people love that.
The polar plunge. And this is another thing. Like, I feel like, and I promise Eagles fans, I love you. I grew up in a family of Eagles fans, but when I went to the Polar Plunge like a couple years ago in March, they were all like dressed up in their Eagles gear and jumping in the Atlantic Ocean, like no shame. And I remember someone had like a big bunny hat on. I would never do this. Like, what are you all doing? Like, someone jumped into the ocean with eagle pajamas on, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, what is happening? My mom and I were just laughing hysterically on the beach.
Yeah, it's like, no, thank you. And another cool thing that I actually been wanting to do and I haven't done yet, but same thing, and it takes part in Asbury Park, is a zombie walk.
I
So I
want to
think this
do
happens in
this.
October, like around Halloween. So everyone is like dressed up, really cool, and it's like a parade,
I
and it
would
looks
love
like
to do that.
a
I would
lot
do
of fun.
that.
All
That
right, we're
would be
gonna look
fun.
into it. Maybe we'll do that this year
Yeah.
and post about it so you guys can see what we're talking about. So I feel like, yeah, there's so much to see in such a small state, like Rachel said, but there's so much to see and do, more than most people realize. And another thing too, like I mentioned earlier, like the Statue of Liberty, like the history, like it really is a wonderful, wonderful state with so much to do. And I have to say, like, when it comes to the food, I know a lot of places, like, they get a lot of hype, especially like in New York City, because they do like all these like crazy like brunches and like fun things. And like New Jersey has stepped it up significantly because I've gone to like some really fun brunches, and you don't have to pay $30 to cross the bridge into New York City to get to experience some of these amazing spots, like tons of rooftop bars. Like I know Rachel and I did a staycation in Jersey City. We stood in the Exchange Place area, the hotel. We were at the Hyatt. I forget exactly which one, but it had a really cool rooftop. So you have the skyline views. So it's so much to do that you just really cannot go wrong. And even if you
Yeah.
are traveling, let's say to New York City, you can stay in the New Jersey side and you're probably going to pay like half of what you would pay
It's a lot
in New
less.
York and still be within easy
It's
access
easy
to
if you
other
take the
areas.
path. It's so
So
easy.
it's
It's
super
so easy.
accessible. I love that it's super accessible to be able to kind of branch off to other places.
Yeah. All right. We ready for our rapid fire round, New Jersey style?
I think so.
All right, let's do it. All right. So, would you rather live in North Jersey with easy access to New York City but constant traffic, or would you rather go to South Jersey with beach access and slower living but farther from everything?
Oh my God. Again, just because I've lived in North New Jersey my whole life, and I do love having the convenience, and I feel like I'm kind of immune to the traffic anyway. So I'm just going to stay in North New Jersey, and I'll see you guys in South Jersey after September.
That sounds
Like,
good.
bye bye, crowds.
I guess my answer to this one is how much money am I making?
Yeah, because
Uh,
like not, but one thing we did not talk about, living in New Jersey is not cheap.
no,
It is
it is
not cheap. Like
not.
our tax, like my taxes, like I'm a homeowner and my taxes are like ridiculous.
Yeah, highest property taxes in the US. But if you're just coming to travel here, it's fine. You don't have to worry about those. But yeah, if I'm famous and I'm making tons and tons of money, I'll take North New Jersey, but
Have a shore
it,
house.
and then have a shore house. I love it. And then have a shore
We'll have a
have
house in
two.
Alpine,
I
right? And
love
then
it.
we'll
There we go.
have a shore house in Cape May. Best of both worlds.
Hey, I think we'll get there one day. Let's
And
be
and have a
positive.
chauffeur because I am not driving back and forth.
Hell no, I'm not doing that drive. Like I drive the Garden State Parkway all the time, and if I am rich, I'm not doing that anymore. Like it's a slog. All right. So, would you rather only eat at diners in North Jersey for the rest of your life, or only have Wawa runs in South Jersey for the rest of your life? What
All
is
right.
this
So
one?
as much as I love Wawa, I'm going to stick to the diners just because I'm going to have more diversity and options of food. I don't know if I can eat an Italian hoagie and chips every day.
That I agree. Like I would stick with the diners because at least you have diversity of food. Like if I was eating that meatball hoagie every day, I
My
would be
stomach would not like that.
my stomach would rebel and just be like, I'm jumping out of your body and I'm just done with you.
It's like, girl, find a new place to eat. Like, we're not doing this. All right, Rachel, would you rather defend North New Jersey in every debate forever or always have to say South Jersey is technically better, even if you don't believe it?
Oh my gosh, I can't
That's a
betray
tough
my
one.
South Jersey. I can't betray my
Do
South
it.
Jersey. Oh
Come
my
to the
god.
north side.
And it's funny because I've lived here for like 10 years now. Oh my gosh. It's so hard because like I like both in different ways.
At least you're not from Central Jersey because, like, where is Central Jersey? I love you all.
Seriously, guys, when we say a Jersey experience, only people here live understand it is like this weird thing with geography. It's
Be honest, where is Central Jersey?
so you're gonna like hate this. So I, growing up in South Jersey, and I'm gonna get hate from everyone. I in South Jersey thought that Princeton was North Jersey.
My
That's how
gosh.
far south
Yeah,
I
that's
was.
it. We need to give you a geography lesson on the state. But for me, like growing up in North New Jersey, I kid you not, like once we used to pass, let's say like Cranford, I genuinely thought that was like South Jersey. Like my dad used to work in Route 22 in Union, and I was like, is this Central Jersey? Like, where are
My
we?
God. I remember, so like South Jersey, again, my South Jersey listeners, I'm from there. I promise I'm not bashing it, but I thought it was funny. When I coach soccer at my school, and like the kids know where I'm from. I brought up South Jersey, and one of my soccer players goes, "What did you do down there? There's no people there. It's
Love it.
empty." He's like, "It's empty."
But I love the fact that you actually thought Princeton was like North New Jersey. So for those people that they have no idea what Princeton is, it is not in North New Jersey.
Feel like we could do, and I promise if you would like this episode, Rosa and I can certainly do more deep dives with places. Like, I think this is like a good excuse to do staycations around the state and then do podcast episodes, doing like a deep dive into more specific destinations. Because I feel like Cape May and Asbury Park, you could easily do an entire episode just on those spots. So we will definitely have more New Jersey content coming your way. This is more of just like a love letter to the state that we call home. And you guys should definitely like visit, because I promise it's not all the turnpike.
Exactly. And then when you go to place your breakfast order, remember scrambled eggs and Taylor ham on a Portuguese roll. And if you feel adventurous, throw some cheese and salt, pepper, ketchup.
Yeah. Or be
That's the
like me,
Jersey
or
way.
like be me and be boring, get your bacon, egg, and cheese. And I do love a good sesame bagel or an egg bagel, but oh my God, I'm gonna get hungry.
I
I
love
love
a
an
good salted bagel like that. It's like, and you know, it's a good bagel when you, first of all, if you have to toast it, that's a no right
no,
there.
that's a
Like,
no
you should
no.
not need to
No.
toast your bagel. So
Mm-mm.
that's how you know the quality is good.
Yeah,
I
if
feel like
it's
we need to do, like you said, an entire episode just kind of focused on food. And I feel like we can even pick like one type of like either cuisine or item and do like an entire episode. So
yeah, and we
a
can
part
also
two
get
will come
a
soon.
part two will come soon, and we'll also try to get some cool New Jersey guests on the show too, because like we're fun. Like we love New Jersey. I
Maybe
love New
they
Jersey.
can moderate our debate.
I know, right? They'll be like, "What are these girls
Be
even
like, we
talking
need
about?"
someone from Central Jersey who's neutral territory.
Right. So, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Happy 4th of July. And as we wrap up today's episode of Bon Voyage Besties, we again just want to say thank you for sticking around and listening to us as we talk about our love for the Garden State. Rosa and I, we really do love it. And it is really cool that we have this friendship and we're from two different parts of the state. So, we can kind of give you a really cool overview of what it's like to be here. So, from underrated spots and everyday moments that make New Jersey feel like home to tackling one of the greatest debates of all time, pork roll versus Taylor ham, even though I don't really eat it, which makes it even funnier in a way. We had a blast breaking this all down with you. So whether you're from North Jersey, South Jersey, Team Wawa, or if you would rather go to 7-Eleven, if you like the Devils or the Flyers, whatever, we all call this state home. It's an amazing place to live. It's so much fun. Thanks for being part of the conversation. And if you want to DM us, let us know what parts of New Jersey you would like us to cover, because again, like I feel like Princeton, Asbury Park, Cape May, Jersey City, these are all places that we could easily like do an episode because there's so much to see and do. So definitely tell us what you would like to hear more about, and Rosa and I will make it happen. So in the meantime, enjoy your travels. Happy 4th of July, and we'll see you next week.
Yes, Brick City, baby.
Woo! Bye bye, guys. Take care.
Bon voyage, besties.
Bon
Catch you on the next
voyage.
one.